afternoon. This is the matter of guardianship of Dosch, 99G020357. Ms. Mikesell, your appearance for the record.
Elizabeth Mikesell, bar number 8034 for Mr. Garrett Dosch.
Ms. Brickfield.
Good afternoon. Elizabeth Brickfield, bar number 6236, guardian ad litem for Garrett Dosch, and I want to apologize to Your Honor for missing the last hearing.
Mr. Allen.
Hi, good afternoon. Daniel Allen, bar number 14341, here on behalf of Ms. Rain, who was not with me. Not sure if she's appearing or not, but I'm in for Jonathan Nelson. He was supposed to get on, and I'm filling in for her.
Rain is right here.
She's right there. It says AV Library. Ms. Dosch is joining us there. Ms. Dosch, can you hear us all right?
I can hear you.
Yes, she can hear you. I'm muting every once in a while so that you don't hear the other stuff we're up to. Because it's
that's all right.
Distracting.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you at the library for assisting her. Also, Melody Dosch is joining us. Melody, can you hear me all right? You did.
Hi, yeah, I was just trying to get unmuted. I can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Melody is sister-in-law to Garrett. Ms. Mikesell, we continued this for today for accounting. We'll start with you. Do you have any objections or concerns with the fifth accounting?
No objection, Your Honor.
Brickfield?
Your Honor, are you talking to me?
I am. Do you have any objections or concerns with the fifth accounting?
I had a couple of questions. So number one is there's no report of the guardian, and I hope we're going to see one for that period. With regard to the specific expenditures, I really just had a few questions. Number one had to do with the life insurance that is being paid for. And my question again is, whose policy is the life on? Whose life is being insured? And who is the payee?
There is no life insurance.
It's a life insurance company, but it's an accident policy.
There is a...
I know, hold on one second. I know that these questions came up at the last hearing, and Mr. Allen, I know that you are covering for Mr. Nelson. Do you know if Mr. Nelson was able to address those issues about the insurance and provide that information to Ms. Mikesell, Ms. Brickfield?
To mine, so. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Ms. Brickfield. Go ahead.
Ms. Mikesell, did you receive any of the information that we discussed at the last hearing?
No, Your Honor, I don't believe it's been received yet.
Mr. Allen, I know this puts you in a difficult position, but if you don't know, that's okay to say too. We discussed the same life insurance policy. Council had some questions. Ms. Brickfield's raising the same questions. I asked that information be provided to council. Do you know if that was provided or Mr. Nelson was attempting to get that information?
I know he was attempting to get it. I don't believe.
They can hear.
Okay.
I don't believe that it was actually sent, though. And again, please don't quote me. I'm I had a brief conversation, but I know he was trying to get the information on that in policy, but wasn't able to get it.
I'm
sending
that right this minute to Ashanti at the J.K. Nelson Law.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sending it right in any second.
Thank you so much,
ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, will you tell me your name for the record?
This is Colette Johnson.
Miss Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Johnson. All right, Ms. Brickfield, those are the questions about the insurance policy. Did you have other questions or concerns?
I did, Your Honor. They're very minor. The accounting has $5,547.29 on automobile repairs. And I wanted to know what vehicle was repaired. And then the last question with regard to the accounting is, there's a reference to something called Journey, Journey Health. I didn't know if that was a medical provider for Garrett. And I don't see that there were any payments for visits to a doctor or a dentist during the time period. I do see payments for an eye examination. And I know over the years we talked about making sure that Garrett had updated communication devices and a computer, and I don't see any expenditures for that. But maybe some of those questions will be answered if Ms. Dosch was to file a report of the Guardian. Maybe we'd know a little bit more about the doctor visits.
That was done then,
That's been done for months.
years. This
Yes,
is-
but I mean, but the most recent one was done back
Oh,
in
yeah.
September,
Yeah.
August or September.
You should have all of that.
Give me one moment. I'm gonna look back and find the last report of Guardian so we can put just that time on the record. I see the last report of Guardian filed July 23rd, 2021. However, let me also say that I know that some things have been filed in this case under the wrong name. And so I see Ms. Mikesell kind of shaking her head. And so there might be a much newer one under a different name. Do you have one there, Ms. Mikesell?
No, Your Honor, I was just nodding because I thought you were going to say, I've been having some of my clients, guardians, tell me, like, I filed that. I don't know what happened to it. I mailed it in and it's kind of in that, I don't know what happened to it. I'm not saying this case, but other cases.
Okay. Ms. Dosch, do you know when you filed that report of Guardian, did you mail it in or did you file it in another way?
I didn't file it. James Birchtold filed it.
But we just did send a copy of that to Ashanti at J.K. Nelson Law. So they could forward that too.
Okay, so I'm going to, I know that we've had a change in attorney for Garrett. Mr. Birchtold previously represented Garrett. Now Ms. Mikesell at Legal Aid represents Garrett. Ms. Mikesell, as generally, I don't remember that Mr. Brickfield, Mr. Birchtold would file things for Ms. Dosch. Do you have any notes in your file or any records that your office filed the report of Guardian?
I in my review of the file, I did not see anything like that, Your Honor.
And it looks like in September of 2022 that I issued that notice of non-compliance that went out and showed that the accounting was due and also the report of Guardian was due. But I don't see one since then. So Ms. Dosch, I'm going to ask you to file that updated report of Guardian. In part, that is going to answer some of Ms. Brickfield's questions and some of my questions. Let me just indicate that I see again that guardianship fees were paid without approval. And I'm going to indicate that although guardianship fees may well be necessary in this case or appropriate in this case, the petition for those and the detail that's necessary hasn't been filed. And perhaps those are better classified as caregiving fees, we've had discussions in the past at length
What kind of fees?
about
What was that?
caregiving fees.
Caregiving.
We've had discussions in the past about what that petition would need to be, what it would need to include, the detail that would be appropriate. I think that all of the parties throughout this proceeding have agreed that they may be appropriate. If I approve the accounting today, though, or in the future, my approval of the accounting is based on the math and the accounting itself. It should not be construed as an approval of the guardian fees
So what
that were paid during the time period of the accounting. And again, that these are just same issues that we've been talking about in these accounting hearings over time. I do need the report of guardian filed, and I'd like it to be filed in the next 30 days. Mr. Allen and Mr. Nelson may be able to assist you in filing those documents and make sure that they're filed for the most recent time periods. Over time, many of those answers have been just like cut and paste. It's the same report of guardian that's filed. You heard Ms. Brickfield's concerns about doctors and appointments and Journey Health and all those things. Those would best be addressed in the report of guardian. Ms. Mikesell, do you have anything else today?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Brickfield?
Your Honor, I would like, if possible, to work out with Ms. Mikesell if I could have a Zoom conference with Mr. Dosch just to hear a little bit about his doing. I only see him in the background, and that's great. Just a few minutes. Mr. Beckstrom and I had done that in the past. Mr. Berchtold and I had done that in the past. So maybe we could arrange just a brief show and discussion with Garrett to see how he's doing.
I have no objection to that. I would just ask that Mr. Nelson be included on setting it up so he can communicate with Rain.
Sure.
I would agree with that. Yeah, that works.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Mr. Allen, I would like to allow Mr. Nelson and Ms. Dosch the ability to supplement that accounting if they'd like to. Today, I'm going to approve and accept the accounting. I'm noting, though, there's same concern about the insurance. There are questions about the insurance and the auto repair are not that they are somehow unreasonable or that they represent some wrongdoing at all. That's not their statement. Their statement is that they just would like some more information and have questions about those. And so to the extent
Has court gone over what that information is? I mean, it sounds like they have. I just want to make sure that whatever it is that they're looking for, they get the right thing and not just something.
Okay, so it says life insurance. It is one of the expenditures.
Right.
That's a new expenditure that didn't appear on other accountings. The question is, whose life is insured and who's the payee? Ms. Dosch has said that it's not a life insurance policy, although it's being paid to a life insurance company. It's another type of insurance. It's accident insurance. And so the nature of that policy, what type of accidents it covers, whose accidents, I think that would be relevant. The question is about the auto repair. Which vehicle had the auto repair? And then Journey Health. We assume that's a medical provider, but we don't see, like we usually see, and we see an optometrist payment. We don't see the doctor and dentist. Right? So that information would be helpful to provide that to both Ms. Mikesell and Ms. Brickfield. Anything else I can do? And Ms. Brickfield, Ms. Mikesell, Mr. Nelson will work together. I think our last hearings of substance we're during COVID, and so things have changed, and it's probably a good point for you to work on that communication.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
thank you,
Thank you.
thank you.